Hi there guys, welcome back. In this tutorial we're going to explore ClipMaker. We're going to do an overview of all the basics and inside Panzoid.com, if you see this image right here, just click on it and that's going to launch ClipMaker, the basic interface. And here we have our viewer or canvas, and basically if I want to move around, I just left click on my mouse and I can move around this 3D space. And if I want to zoom in and out, I just use the middle wheel to zoom in and out. And if I want to move sideways and up, I use the right click on my mouse, and that should work. On this side we have the very first tab. That's the projects tab. So we have the option to create a new project, to load a project, to save a project onto our computer, and if we're logged in we can upload the creations and then other people can go ahead and use it and just load one of these creations onto your project and just continue working or make them your own. But in this case, we're just gonna do an overview of everything. I think the best way to learn is to at the same time do a little bit of a project. So in this case, for ClipMaker, I have two assets. One is a 3D object that I downloaded from this site, which I recommend, which is called. Let me do it in a different tab because I don't want to leave. ClipMaker. It's called free3d.com, and you can download a bunch of 3D objects if you want to use for your ClipMaker projects. Okay, and I also have an audio file, and we're gonna include those as we explore this fantastic site, fantastic app, I guess. So the basic settings tab lets you decide what kind of resolution you want to make your project. So you can do this now or after, but in this case we're going to choose 1080p, and the frame rate, it's 30 frames per second. That's fine. And the length, you can decide how long you want your project to be. In this case we're going to leave it at 6 seconds. The other tab is the I don't even remember what it's called. Let's see if it appears there. But basically what this does is that it allows you to add an environment to your scene. So if I choose, for example, here outdoor, and I can add, for example, either cloudy rays or maybe sunset, and it's gonna load the that space here. So we have a sunset now. And you can decide if you want to do a terrain or with terrain or not, so it just fills all around. And that's a quick way to have your scene fill out. And one quick tip, if you want to see how the actual video would like, you just go toggle here on this eye, and if you turn it on, you can see this is the actual video. This is what you would actually see on screen, not the 3D space, but this would be the actual result. So you can toggle that on and off as you create your project. So moving on, this is okay. So there's other stuff, like you have blocks. If you want, you can add some blocks, or you can add a light, but you can also add lights later on. I'll show you like different lights to illuminate your scene. So in this case, let's do maybe space. Yeah, that looks cool. Space. Okay. This one's to control the volume. This one's to move it slowly, and this is when you have audio on. If you want to see the waveform, so that you can add keyframes to the proper places, like you can see the spikes on your waveform and decide where the keyframes go. So that's very useful. But in this case, we're just using the toggle vision to see. I don't know, it's not that exciting. It's better when it moves in 3D space. But okay, so now we're just going to move to the objects tab, and this is where you can add a bunch of different objects to your project. And there's a bunch of objects, a bunch of options here that you can choose from. So if I hit on the add objects tab, you have the opportunity to add a shape. You have the opportunity to add 3D text to add a model. In this case, they only have two, the AK-47 and a mystery box. I don't even know what the mystery box looks like. Like, I don't know. It's just, it actually has some textures. And you can add the open the lid. Whoa, that's crazy. You see here? So what's in that mystery box? We don't know. Whoa. Okay, let's delete that one. And you can add a light, as we said before. If you add a light, you can add a light to just pretty much illuminate your scene, whichever way you want. We're gonna add a light later on, but in this case, particles. So you can add different particles that you can also animate. You have a bunch of animation, and one cool thing is that if you don't really know what kind of particles do you want or what kind of stuff do you want to have in your scene, you can just go ahead and hit the dice and randomize that thing until, let's see, until something that you kind of like. Let me see if over space, so over time. Here's some real green. Let's see. All this one changes colors, so you can randomize those particles, or you can just change all these settings. You even have all these settings until you find the right particles that you want. So this has a lot of control and a lot of a way to do a lot of cool stuff. Let's see how it looks in the actual video view. Okay, so we're gonna cancel particles, and we can also do groups, so we can combine everything together, objects, text, and then just move it around. And then we have custom object, and we're going to import my object, the one that I downloaded from free 3D. And in this case, we're gonna go to desktop, we're gonna go to ClipMaker, and we're gonna get this stick man. We're gonna open that one, and right away we see here how this object behaves. So if I toggle the eye, we can see it there. So I guess I'm all the way around, so this would be properly. This is how it should be looking. Yeah, there we go. And it's a little bit to the side because the key point is here. Like, ideally you want the key point here, but in this case the object was created with the key point here. So the only problem is, like, any rotations that I do, it's directed towards the hand, you see? Whenever I try to animate it. I'm gonna put it back the way it was. But I'm going to reposition these men to the center of my main canvas. So I'm just gonna put it like around here. Yeah, that kind of works. And let me just see. Yeah. And so now we have the object, which is a guide, right? And let's see what we can add. We're gonna add some text. We're gonna go ahead and add some text. Just click on it, text. Here's the ClipMaker. I'm gonna change that text to my my name, which is Fast Video. I'm gonna give it 2 spaces to see if it has enough space there. So you see that everything kind of combines, everything's just kind of mixed together. So we can change that by adding a light, but we also can add some textures to the different objects. So let's do something for the guy, for the stick man. So we're just gonna go ahead and do under the shape, instead of the appearance to be single color, we're gonna use, you can have a custom texture, but in this case we're gonna, because I don't have anything in my computer, I'm gonna use something that alien. No, that's not good. Let's just do a color for now then. Single color. Let's do it to separate both. So yeah, that's kind of fine like that. But let's add a light. Put it up a little bit, not to the other side. And to the other, like this, from the sides. And now if we go back to our stickman and we go to the textures, and if we do something like this, now we can see reflections and all that cool stuff. And we can do the same for the text. We can tell the text to to use an appearance here, a different one, metal, for example. So yeah, that kind of looks good. If we go to the light and we hide the intensity, if we make it brighter, you can actually see it. Let's take a look at how that looks on our viewer. And yeah, it's kind of looking kind of good. We can see like a harsh shadow here. It looks very, very grunge, very cool. And yeah, that's basically it. We just added two objects. We added some space. If we want, we can add particles, maybe more stars. But let's just move on to some other cool stuff that we can keep building our scene on. So let's move on to the next tab, which is effects. And here we can add different effects to that. That's gonna affect the whole scene. There's no way to separate them and just choose which parts receive an effect. So we're just gonna add it to the whole scene. So once again, a single button here that lets you add an effect, and let's see what we have here. We have a bunch of different effects, maybe to colorize. So you can colorize, and then if we want to add like a different color, you see it colorizes the little man. So if we do a blue, it's gonna look more like a fast video type of deal. But in this case, let's just leave it the way that it is. Let's add another effect. For example, you can see what each one does because you can read underneath what each effect does. So these real harsh edges, if I just do an anti-aliasing effect, they're gonna make that softer and nicer for the viewer. So let's just leave one of those there, and let's see. Bloom, it's gonna take the high values of the bright areas, in this case the light, and I like how this reflects here on my text here. So on bloom, and I can just add more light there. I can animate these, so at different parts of the song I can just bright and make it brighter or not so much, and that's gonna be really cool. So I like that effect. Let's put it in there. Let's see what else is there. Anamorphic Lens does pretty much the same. In this case, it just adds flares. RGB. We're gonna do this one. It gives it like a retro look, but in this case, we're going to change the angle. Let me just up the amount just a tiny bit and change the angle to be on top, maybe. What the hell am I doing here? Yeah, and the blue down. Yeah, that looks kind of cool. And then just lower it like there, so it looks cool that way. And you can also animate these over time. I'll show you. So that's pretty cool. Let's add another effect. Wavy. So you just read later on what each one does. But here are the framing effects. So you can, for example, if I add the duplicate effect, it's gonna do like a different amount of screens. But in this case, you don't want to use it. Like I've seen a lot of videos that use it. You just turn it on enough. You just keyframe that, and it gives you like a really cool effect. But in this case, I don't think I want. Well, let's leave it off. Let's leave it in there, and let's leave it off for now. And let's see, which one? Okay. So this one's great for fade effects. So I'm just gonna add that one, and basically what it does, it's just like it covers part of the scene, but I guess you can, you can just cover, there you go, as much as you want. So with this one we can cover and open it and cover it. That's kind of cool. I'm gonna leave it at 0 right now, but it's good to have those effects. But as you can see, there's tons of effects that you can add to your scene, and just go over each of one of them and play around. The next thing that we're gonna use is the camera, and the camera, it's awesome because you can use the position to move in and out, to move up and down, to move sideways if you want to move the camera sideways. So that's really cool. And you can also add rotation, but this adds rotation to the whole world, right? Maybe we will do the rotation for each individual piece. And also you can add shake if you want. Let's see, let's change. So let's play to see how ooh, that's crazy, that's too much. So maybe here it should be like 0.5, and let's see how that looks. Oh, that's too little. So let's do 5. And let's see how that looks. Okay, that looks kind of cool. So if you like shake, you can have that. In this case, I don't like shake. I don't think I need that for now. But yeah, so far we have a scene, and here is what the camera can do. We're going to add some keyframes later on, but let's add the audio. So let's move to the audio tab, and here we can insert an audio file. I have one that I downloaded from YouTube there. I'm just gonna hit select to import it. It's grind here. Ooh, what happened to the object? And I guess it doesn't show up when, because it's only for audio files. So I just imported that audio, and if I turn the wave form here, I can see it here. And if I play it back, alright, so we're gonna use these waveforms to animate everything to that sound, right? So let's go to the very beginning and see what we can do here at the very beginning. So it's kind of like a cool opening, and around 10, the keyframe 10, we can maybe animate the text to go in. So let's go back to my objects tab, and let's find the text layer, and I'm gonna give it a keyframe, a position keyframe there. So I'm just gonna add a plus here to add a keyframe. Then I'm gonna move to the first one, and I'm gonna change the position to be out of the whole scene. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, you know, it just kind of comes in. But let's just move it a little bit backward. Yeah, and that's gonna give us time. Yeah, that kind of works. And let's do maybe the other way around. Let's just go to this keyframe and change the position of the guy to be there, and then at the beginning just go out of the way. So maybe all the way back. Wow, it's lost in space. I'm gonna hit shift to move it even further. Yeah, like all the way there. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that kind of works. And let's see what else we can do. So I see, for example, the shutter here in effects. We can also animate that. So maybe the cover portion, I can have it close around here and add a cover keyframe, return to the beginning, and then make it completely black. And then, yeah, that kind of works. So our intro is kind of cool looking. Let's see what else we can do. We can, I guess we can just add some shake. That's the easiest way to do. So I'm just gonna do a tiny bit. I'm just gonna do the 5%, and well, that's too crazy. Maybe less than 5. Yeah, that kind of goes with the music. All right, maybe in the camera settings here, we can do like a zoom out around the 14 here, like a zoom out to this point maybe. And let's see, add another keyframe here, and maybe just let it float a bit there. Let's see how that looks. I mean, this is really simple, but that's how you design an intro. And you know, for example, if you wanna animate other stuff like the effects here, for example, the bloom. Let's add some strength here. So I'm just gonna hit the plus sign to add a keyframe, and I'm gonna move a little bit in time, and I'm gonna add another keyframe just to make it a lot brighter, even more, very bright. And then here, and then I'm gonna add another keyframe, and this time I'm just gonna fade it out completely. I'm gonna put 0, and let's see how that looks. You know, it gave us like a little spark there. Let's see, maybe just here we can use the duplicate effect, and then just add a keyframe, and then next one we're just gonna add another keyframe, and this time we're gonna tell it on. Sorry, we're gonna tell it on, and then we're gonna go, and then we're gonna add another keyframe, and then another keyframe here, and we're gonna tell it another keyframe that's gonna go off. So it's gonna look, yeah, stuff like that. And then maybe to the RGB effect, I can just keyframe the amount. Maybe here in the middle, I can just go something crazy with just here, and then we do another keyframe and just go like this. And then right here we just do another keyframe and then just go, oh, this is for the angle, sorry. Then just do one for the amount here, and then we just go to only 0.5, like this. And yeah, you can do a lot of stuff, animate a lot of stuff. If you want to add more objects, if you want to add the AK-47 somewhere in there, and you will see it here, and you can see it here. And then we can just have the AK-47 animated separately, so we can just change the rotation of these things so it just moves all the way up, and the position up here, and maybe we make it closer so it looks darker, down a little bit. Let's just fix that RGB shift, so we can put one keyframe here and then just lower it completely here to 0, and then we can see the AK-47, and then here we can see the gun maybe appear. So let's go back to our objects, AK-47, and then just move it out of space here. It would appear here, maybe a little bit tiny bit down there. Yeah, down there looks good. So yeah, right there. And maybe we can add a keyframe here, position, and then here we put it out of frame, another keyframe, and we tell it to move out of frame right here. And that's the way it's gonna look. So you saw that the AK-47 appeared there. So one thing that we want to do here is maybe just really put it out of the way so it doesn't appear. You know what, maybe not so much, because then it's gonna be so fast when it comes in. So maybe just put it here out of the way, and then just do another keyframe here, add another keyframe, and in this case just put it way out of the way, and that way it's not gonna be in our scene. Let's see. Ooh, it's still in the scene. It's still there, it's still there. But yeah, you guys get the idea. You can just play with it. Out! Yeah, you can just get the idea, and just work with the stuff. Maybe just go back to your camera, and here when the AK-47 appears, we can just keyframe these two, and then here just give it a 0 value to everything, so there's not going to be any more shake. And here we can just do like a really cool zoom. So we do a keyframe for the position, and here, and we just move another keyframe, just move in close, and then we just end there. Let's see how that looks. I mean, it's not a masterpiece, but you get the idea. That's basically how it works. So we just created a cool intro, I don't know, and wow, I've been speaking for about 25 minutes, but that's how long it takes, for you to decide what goes on each place and what you need to add and subtract, and basically just look through every single piece and just start adding stuff and see what works, what not. So for our last tab, we're gonna hit download, and basically you can do like different qualities. So in this case, we're gonna do like a fast render, because yeah, I don't really care too much about this video. And you have two options for the output. It can be .mkv or .web. I don't even know how to pronounce this. But I like this one. This is what I use mostly, so no problem. I'm gonna start a video render for that one, and basically that's gonna take a few seconds to render. It says 2 minutes, but I don't think it's gonna take that long. I'm just gonna cut this out and see how long it takes. Yeah, so this is a pretty awesome site. Let me just pause it so I don't have to edit anything. Alright, so I guess it just finished rendering everything, so I'm just gonna go ahead and download my video to my computer. It's gonna open a new tab, and then it's gonna download everything to my computer. Let's go to let's go to my downloads folder and just open that one up and see how that looks. Let's see it one more time. Alright, to be honest, that's not too bad. I don't even know what I was gonna end up doing. I know I had the object, but that looks kind of cool. As you can see, this is a very powerful software app, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna return to editing here, and that's just, so if I don't know, I think if I logged in, it's just gonna disappear everything. But yeah, that was cool. That was pretty good to do. So I hope you like this basics tutorial. I think I'm gonna do one on more advanced stuff, or maybe I'm just gonna dissect some of the really cool outros and intros that people do here, so that you can learn how it's done. So stay tuned for the next tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this useful, and if you like it, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and share it so we can spread the knowledge. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for watching. Check out this video and don't forget to subscribe for more content.